Hi guys, and welcome back. We are to part 4 of my crazy pregnancy story. So if you haven't yet, go watch part 1 through 3 and like, share, and subscribe, comment, all that other good stuff, and we will keep this ball rolling. Okay, so we left off, it was around New Year's by now. So at this point, I was going to the doctor 2 times a week. So basically, my appointments were on Mondays and Thursdays. So it was New Year's Eve of 2020, and I was about to go to the doctor. So when during my visit, my hospital visit, they would wheel me down to the doctor, and then they would leave me there. I would have my doctor's appointment, and then they would wheel me back. So this doctor's appointment, Gerard had to work, so he could not come to. So I went into the doctor's appointment very positive, very hopeful that everything was just going to be good, because my doctor's appointment beforehand was super good, very good, very felt like we was moving in the right direction. So go to the doctor, I'm happy, they do my scans, and then of course I go and wait in the room for the doctor to come and just tell me the results of the ultrasound. So I'm in the room waiting for the doctor. I'm kind of like, I always get nervous for these appointments just because of the situation I'm in. So it's always very nerve-wracking, and I always have the PTSD, I guess you could say, from when they told me I had to come to the hospital. So it's always very nerve-wracking, but I'm kind of optimistic at this point that everything is going to be okay. All good. So the doctor comes in and she tells me in so many words, those scans were not good. We're back, we're going in the wrong direction. Yes, last time they were good, but that's because we're now believing that it's because they gave you like those steroids and stuff like that. So I'm crushed, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like we was doing so good. We was going in the right direction, I thought. So I'm very crushed. Just very, I can't even explain the words to tell you guys how I felt in this moment. Of course, I was still reading my Bible, still trying to believe that, God, you got this, you got me, you got my baby. Everything is going to turn out good. But that was the godly side of me. But then we go back to the human side. And, you battle with this. And so my human side was like, what's going to happen? What now? So she proceeds to tell me, we make an appointment. Remember, this is New Year's Eve. So we make an appointment for the Monday after New Year's. So New Year's Eve was on a Thursday this year. And so I had another appointment on Monday. And they was like, listen, the way it's looking now, we're going to have to take her out on Wednesday. We'll wait, because Wednesday I was going to turn 30 weeks. So they was like, we'll keep her in, but Wednesday, we think it's time. We think it's the best time to take her out. Like, you have made it to 30 weeks and it'll be time, basically. They was like, we don't think it's safe for her to go any longer inside your belly, basically. So of course, I'm crushed, because the whole time I was just really hoping that she made it to at least 32 weeks. Because I just felt like that was just better, 10 weeks is so long. So sad, I'm crushed. I called Gerard, tell him what's going on, and here I am back to crying. So this weekend was not a good weekend. It wasn't a good weekend. They put me back on continuous monitoring, meaning I'm basically strapped to the bed. I mean, in so many words, that's how I felt. I was strapped to the bed at all hours of the day. They did let me up, of course, to take showers, but the other hours of the day, I'm strapped to the bed. And they didn't even really want me to take like long showers. So they kind of wanted me to take fast showers so that then I could be back on the monitor. Well, later on New Year's Eve evening, I really thought that she was going to come because I'm not feeling well. Her heart rate keeps dipping. They're putting me oxygen mask on me to get oxygen. They're pumping me with fluid. At this point, I've been pumped with fluid so much. To me, and knowing how I looked, I felt like I looked unrecognizable. Like, my face is huge, my legs are huge, everything is huge on me because of all the liquid and all the fluids that they was pumping through me. So it was making me swell up. So I thought she was gonna come. I was like, I'm gonna have a New Year's Eve baby. But we held out and it got better. After that night, it got better for a couple days. And then I'm back to my regularly program schedule, basically. In the hospital, there wasn't much I could do. I was just there, just waiting, kind of. Like, we're just kind of in a waiting stage at this point. We're just trying to be positive, just trying to just continue on with what we're doing. So the night of the 3rd, we're past New Year's now. The night of the 3rd of January, Gerard goes to go get me some Panera, which isn't unusual. I mean, like, I eat Panera often. Well, not often, but, like, this isn't a new food to me. So we eat Panera, and then we go to sleep kind of early, actually. We go to sleep around, like, 9 o'clock, and we normally do not go to sleep that early. So then I had a night nurse. My night nurse came in before I went to sleep, introduced herself and everything. And so then I guess she got called in to, somebody was having their baby. So she got called in to do that. So then I had got another nurse. So I wake up, it's like 12 o'clock midnight or something like that. I wake up and she's like pumping me with fluids. So when I say this, I had an IV, and so they was pumping fluids through my IV. So I wake up, this is normal because they've been doing this, they've been pumping me with fluids, like basically like the whole last couple weeks, right? So I'm just like more fluids. So then I try to go back to sleep and I can't go back to sleep. I start to feel nauseous and I'm like, this is so unusual. And so I tell her, I'm like, hey, I'm feeling nauseous. Can you give me something? So I'm not sure exactly what she gave me, but I think it was some Zofran to make my stomach feel better, basically. So she gives me that, and then she's like, okay, well, just wait 30 minutes to an hour, and we'll see if you're feeling better. So I'm like, okay. Mind you, before this, I'm a very low maintenance patient here. I don't really call the nurse for a lot. I call them to ask them to get me some water, and that's about it. Other than that, I pretty much leave them alone, and they come in and they check on me, take my vitals, all the regular stuff that they do. But other than that, I don't really call them a lot. So I'm 30 minutes goes by. I do not feel good at all. So I'm calling her and I'm like, hey, this is very unusual. I do not feel good. And so she's like, well, maybe the medicine hasn't kicked in. Maybe you're just nauseous because of what you ate. What did you eat? I was like, I ate Panera. And she's like, well, yeah, maybe it's that. We'll come in and we'll give you some medicine through the IV. So she gave me medicine through the IV. And she's like, let that work and we'll see. So I'm like, okay. So at the time when my stomach was hurting, my back was also hurting. And it's becoming worse. It's becoming more intense. I can't breathe or something. So I end up throwing up. and I threw up. But sorry guys, this is going to get very graphic, very disgusting. I threw up, and it felt like I couldn't like control my body or something, because I'm peeing at the same time when I'm throwing up, which is very unusual. Never done this. Never, ever, ever have done this. And so I call her in and I'm like, hey, I threw up. Like, this is bad. She comes in and I'm like, hey, like, I told her, like, hey, I threw up, but I also like peed on myself because like I can't control, like, I feel like I can't control my body basically right now. And so then I felt so bad because she had to change my bed and everything like that. Then I went to go get cleaned up and stuff. And so then I lay back down and she's like, like, I'm gonna go call the doctor, because at this point it's the middle of the night, the doctors are not there, they're just on call. So she calls the doctor and she's like, well, she gave me, she just thinks it's indigestion, and she's gonna give you some more medicine. And so I'm like, okay. So she pumps more medicine through my IV, because now at this point I've done thrown up. So we're scared that if I take it through mouth, I'm not going to get it. So she pumps the medicine and she leaves again. And at this point, Gerard's up. I'm up. I'm crying. I'm like, I can't breathe. Like, my back is hurting so bad. It's making it hard to breathe. And my stomach hurts. I feel horrible. So I sit in there for a little bit. But at this point, like, I am calling her. Like, hey, like, no, I don't feel better. Like, this is not it. Like, I feel horrible. So she comes in and she's like, do you think your water broke or something? Like, do you think you're in labor? So then she does a cervix check and she's like, no, you're not in labor. Like, you're good on that part. They're still monitoring Raina at this time, mind you. And so Raina's fine. Her heart rate is fine. Everything's fine with her, but it's just me. It's me that's suffering over here. So she's like, well, just try to see if the medicine works. Just try to lay down, try to go to sleep. And so I'm like, okay, but I am in so much pain. Like, I'm just like, at this point, even though I'm so scared for Raina to come out, I'm like, yo, if she needs to come out, she got to come out so that I can feel better. Because being dramatic again, don't know what death feels like, but I felt like I was dying. Like, I literally felt so bad. So then the night goes on. Mind you, we're getting to the wee hours of the night. And so she's, like I said, she's in and out. Then she's calling the doctor. And so there's a key point. She took my vitals when she first came in, after I told her that I wasn't feeling good and everything like that. Then after that, before she left out, she took my vitals. She took my blood pressure, like all that other stuff. Took my temperature, the normal stuff that they do. So up until this point, so that was, mind you, that was at like midnight-ish. So we're getting to the wee hours, like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and she has not checked my vitals since 12. So the doctor comes in and it's like, hey, like, did like check her vitals, like do all that. So they checked my vitals, they do the blood pressure. My blood pressure is through the roof. So after they checked my blood pressure, all I remember is nurses flying in there. Like, it was crazy. After this, it was so crazy in my room because nurses were coming in, and it was kind of making us nervous because it's like, okay, what's really going on? Like, what is going on with me? Like, I knew it was something more than just nausea and stuff like that. But I think I had this girl so frazzled because I've thrown up, I peed on myself. So I think this girl is just so frazzled that I don't know. I have no idea what happened, but I felt so bad because I'm like, oh, like, with me throwing up and peeing, like, it probably just slipped your mind. But then again, I'm like, okay, well, lady, I could have died, and I could have had a stroke and die, like, because you didn't do your job. But that's neither here nor there. I'm here to tell the story. So doctors doctors are flying in. Well, nurses are flying in left and right. They give me morphine, and then they give me this other medicine to try to lower my blood pressure, because at this point they're just pumping me with medicines trying to get my blood pressure down, because they said it was so high. It was so high that they were surprised that literally I didn't have a stroke. So they put me in medicine. They finally give me the morphine. I'm trying to take out my nose ring, take out all my jewelry. They're putting the net on my hair. They're getting me ready for surgery. But they couldn't get me to surgery because my blood pressure was so high. So they was trying to get my blood pressure under control. Meanwhile, they're getting Gerard the stuff that he puts on to go to the OR. And by this point, we know Raina is going to be born today. Like, we know. And at this point, I'm just like, please, just like whatever to make me feel better. Like, I trust God that he's going to take care of Raina. But if I'm not here, like, Raina's going to have to come out regardless. So I'm just like, yeah, let's just get her out so that she has a better chance in the NICU, basically, because my body was not doing good at this point. So they start rushing me to the OR. It went really fast from here. They did my epidural. I didn't even feel, like, this is how much medicine they was pumping into me. Like, I didn't feel the epidural at all. So then I'm getting strapped to the table and everything, and then they let Gerard come back in, and then they start. And then in a matter of minutes, Raina is out, and she is so tiny, like literally the size of your hand tiny. Like, she is so tiny. I was pretty much out of it, so I didn't even like get to like really like see her or anything like that. And then she was so tiny. She was 1 pound 14 ounces. So of course they're getting her ready to go to the NICU. Like, they're doing everything they can to get her ready to go to the NICU. So Gerard goes to check on her, and then he comes back. So after that, everything was fine. They sewed me back up and everything. And then they take me to my room. Of course, Raina is in the NICU by now. And Gerard stays with me. He goes with me. He went to go check on her, of course, but he pretty much stays with me the whole time. And we go back to her room, and we're just so exhausted because this has been a long night. We've been up all night, basically, and we're so exhausted. They were pumping me with magnesium, I think. And so I could not get out the bed. And so I could not go see Raina until the next day when they transfer me over to the mother and baby side. So this is the after delivery side. So I could not get up and see Raina. So Gerard went and seen Raina, and he FaceTimed me. And so I got to see her on that. But it was really like sad and everything. I was just glad that they were able to like get my blood pressure down and stuff like that, because it could have been really bad and really scary, like, if they didn't. So I'm so thankful that they did, and I'm thankful that everything happened like the way it did, so that they could like get me to the OR quick and get Raina out quick, so that she did have a chance to just grow and like just grow correctly and be better on the outside, basically. So I'm gonna stop right there so that we can get into, basically, in the next video, Raina's NICU stay and then the aftermath. So I think part 5 will be our final part. So I hope you guys are enjoying this, and we'll be back with another video. Bye.